So hello world, my name is Amelia, and I am just so overwhelmed right now, and I just decided it was time I just did a quick update video to just inform anybody who's watching my videos. I really honestly feel like nobody's ever watching. I know one confirmed person, I think. But I just decided, since I've gone like 2 weeks without talking about what's been going on, that it would actually be worth touching on them real quick. So hopefully we can make this quick while also being informative. So the first thing I want to talk about real quick is because I've been doing a series talking about my SRS journey. And this is probably the biggest thing that I could actually talk about in regards to everything. Oh yeah, by the way, my hair is not done and I have no makeup on, so I honestly feel ugly and I'm about ready to go to bed, and I'm just like, this is kind of that point of the day that I'm like, no, don't let anybody see me. Yeah, kind of unavoidable at this moment because I've had the last 2 days off and they were great. They were wonderful. I got so much work done around my house that I've been needing to get done. There's still a ton to do, but I just decided, hey, I still need to squeeze in a video. So anyways, back to what I was saying. So I've been doing this SRS series on my channel here, as you know, as you should know. And so the last few weeks have been very painful and agonizing as far as getting any progress with it. So I had gotten a call from, so I went in for that appointment, obviously. I got the referral for seeing their in-house psychologist, and it was right before Thanksgiving that I got a call back from them, and they're like, hey, we're all set, we're ready to schedule you this psychology appointment. And I was so excited. I was like, oh yeah, I can get in, if I can get in next week or two, you know, everything's gonna be great. No, apparently, turns out their next appointment wasn't available until January 2nd. Yeah, January 2nd. So I was kind of like surprised by that, and I was really like, okay, there's got to be somebody who could get me in for a psychology much sooner than that. So I ended up declining to make an appointment, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna find another psychologist. Sure enough, that was much harder than I had actually anticipated it being. I contacted several of them, and it was just like they were either telling me, oh, I only work on kids, or, you know, I don't do transgender care, and it was just a load of crap. So I ended up, I don't know, like almost 3 weeks had gone, well, almost like 3 weeks now had gone by, and nothing had gotten done in the progress to getting my therapy, my letters to okay surgery. Now I will say there has been really good progress on my weight loss. I'm actually about 12 to 14 pounds down in just those 3 weeks. Obviously a lot of that might just be water weight, but the whole point is that I have gotten onto a diet routine, and my body apparently likes it as much as I find it headaching because I want to eat pizza and ice cream. Pizza and ice cream, those are my favorites, and I just really can't touch them. I did cheat on ice cream once on Thanksgiving Day, but that's a whole nother subject. So I ended up waiting and putting it off and hoping I'd get somewhere, and I never got anywhere with it. There was no progress whatsoever with getting into a psychologist. Finally, today I had called back and I was like, hey, I'll go ahead and take whatever you got available next. I'm like, I'm just so over, I mean, I can't, this isn't even touching like everything that's going on in my life right now. And I was just like, hey, just go ahead and give me whatever your next available appointment is. So she's like, okay, and she goes and looks it up, and their next available appointment wasn't until April. And she also thinks that that appointment that was being offered to me in January was a cancellation. Don't ask me how on earth you can have a 4-month waiting period for a psychologist. That's just insane. I went ahead and made an appointment, but then I immediately was just like, you know what? Let me try calling. So someone at my work went and saw a psychologist for a transgender related letter, and he referred me, gave me her name, and I am so incredibly grateful for him doing that, because I really had no idea where to go or where to look. And I immediately called her up after I got off the phone with KU, and she immediately picked up the phone. Like, the phone went straight to her, and she's like, yeah. She's like, well, my next available appointment's Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. What? And I went ahead and even confirmed with her. I'm like, I need a letter so I can get SRS. And she's like, yeah, okay, no problem. I can take care of that for you. I'm like, okay then. This is a thing, apparently. So, yeah, I finally got an appointment in with just some name. Like, I didn't even find her through many resources. It was just like, yep, my coworker just mentioned it to me, and I am so thankful that, yeah, she's like, you can fill out all the paperwork when you get here Monday. She's like, she didn't even ask me my last name. She's just like, what's your first name? So I'm so incredibly thankful for that. And then that was the good news. So obviously I'll probably have some things to say about the psychology itself, because there's going to be some particular steps, as well as I will probably like to go over my letters on camera so that people kind of get an idea of what kind of things psychologists and therapists actually have to put in their letters. The other thing is, and this is unfortunate, I had gotten news today that I lost my therapist. I no longer have a therapist. It's definitely not my choice that this had happened. What ended up happening was the day, this even makes it kind of worse, the day that my therapist was supposed to be giving me my letter for, you know, her half of the letter that was going to be helping okay my surgery, she had emailed me and said we probably won't be able to meet because of a family emergency, and she said, I still plan on working on your letter, and she's just like, I'll talk to you later. I went to my appointment on that Thursday morning. They even called me the day before and confirmed the appointment. And I sat in the waiting room for 20 minutes, and then finally I had to go up to the window and be like, hey, where's my therapist? And they were like, she's not here. So that was kind of aggravating, to drive all the way there for a therapy session and have to just leave after 20 minutes because she wasn't there. That was about 3 weeks ago. And I didn't hear from her, and I didn't hear from her. And then finally today, my clinic called me and told me that she was no longer with them. Indeed, it wasn't anything, I guess, she did. It's not like she did anything wrong. It's just that she did indeed have a family emergency. Obviously, I know what the family emergency is. I asked and I found out. But for her privacy, I'm not going to share what it is, but it is a pretty bad family emergency, and unfortunately, it led to her just not even being able to perform at work until the emergency was settled. So that also meant that I lost my therapist. I did talk to them and told them that she was supposed to be providing me a letter for SRS, and they said that they would try to discuss in the clinic what they'll do. If that's either one of the other therapists getting a hold of her and trying to get a brief explanation, and then them being willing to write the letter on her behalf for me. I don't know. It does. I mean, I'm at least proud. I shouldn't say I'm proud. I'm at least happy that it's the minor of the two letters. It wasn't like the big major letter. That would have been frustrating. And I do now have in works the letter with the psychologist. So yeah, along with my weight loss, I only need to lose about another 15 pounds to be at my weight goal. And then once I have those two letters, KU will be able to start making the insurance claim, and I'm pretty certain that if things continue the way they are, my weight should be down where they needs to be by the time insurance comes back and approves it. I'd have a really hard time believing that that wouldn't happen. I have some questions that I have planned lined up for the urologist and the plastic surgeon. There are a couple things I'm interested in asking. One of them, I guess I'm just going to say these in the video. One of them is that there is, during surgery, there's some SRS surgeons who like to preserve the excess urethra tissue, because the tissue that makes up your urethra is self-lubricating. And since SRS surgery usually lacks lubricating abilities, there's some surgeon that will reuse that piece of tissue, so at least there's something in there, at least something. And it's really hard to say for sure. I'm going to ask their urologist if that's one of the things he actually does, if he keeps it, because it'd be great to know that I'm not losing anything. And going on top of this whole this whole theme of losing, there is one other question I have. Chances are the answer to it is going to be no. And a matter of fact, other trans people are probably going to tell me I'm insane for even thinking about asking this question. But I really sat down and I was thinking about how I felt about the surgery, and I did kind of come to a conclusion. And the conclusion is that one of the things that makes me feel very uncomfortable about the surgery is the factor of actually losing my testicles. I know that's weird, but the thing that you got to remember about transgender people is that every trans person feels dysphoria in different ways. The way that we express it, the way that we feel it, what makes us upset, all comes in different forms and different ways. And why did my phone just go off? That was weird. So, but as much as I get really, really bad bottom dysphoria in regards to having a bulge in my pants, because as a girl, I know that that's not supposed to be there. That's one of the things I feel is dysphoria. I don't like the idea of actually losing something, such as my testicles. It's kind of weird to explain, and it was something I finally came to a conclusion about. So I decided that what I want to try asking is if there's any way to do a modified surgery where they won't cut out my testicles, basically. They will figure out if they can figure out some way of preserving them, if that's either getting them up inside my body somehow or something. I really cannot, I'm not the surgeon, so I can't think of the ways. I think I would believe there are ways of doing it. It would be great if somehow they could get them up into the area in my body where a woman's ovaries would be. That would be awesome. And I know obviously they wouldn't function anymore being moved like that because of heat regulation and stuff like that. But one of the things is I know that psychologically it would make me feel better to know that I didn't lose them. Also, and I know this is probably a little bit more far off, there is some medical work being done. They have had success in flies, believe it or not, flies of all things. But they're calling it gonad reprogramming. Basically, there is being researched in with CRISPR. Anybody who knows what CRISPR is, it's a gene editing thing. It's fairly new, and they've made strides throughout the years, and who knows what could happen in the next 5 or 10 years. But the whole idea is that they literally make up something that's, using CRISPR, and they inject it inside of your gonads, or in this case my testicles, and the gene would basically go in there and it edits the genetic code, and then the testicles literally change into ovaries. Which has its benefits for somebody like me, because if this ever becomes a thing in the next 5 or 10 years, they literally could do this procedure on me, and my testicles would actually be working in my favor, producing estrogen over testosterone. Because they would then be my ovaries, not my testicles. And that even includes the ability that I would be able to reproduce by actually producing my own female eggs. Again, it's like I'm kind of getting more into the science fiction of it, but my whole reason that I want to ask this is not necessarily because of that, the potential that that could one day happen, but more so the fact of it just would make me, it would kind of make me more comfortable with myself to know I didn't lose them. And now there is downsides to it. I did quit my spirolactone, which is my testosterone blocker. Technically, this would mean that my testicles still have the ability to produce testosterone. However, I did quit the spirolactone, which means my body is in monotherapy. As long as I am taking my estradiol, my testicles will never ever produce testosterone. It's being blocked by my estrogen. So that would be the only downside, is I would still have to take for the rest of my life a slightly higher dose of estrogen to block and prevent my testicles from producing testosterone. Versus if they took out my testicles, I could immediately reduce my estrogen medications, because like right now typically I'm like 700 or 800 on the estrogen levels. Without my testicles, I could easily get away with 200, 300, at most 400. And some people actually have better feminization on lower levels of estrogen versus higher amounts. So, just a little thing to throw out there. Other things to touch on really quick. I don't know if I ever mentioned, but I had a car accident at the beginning of November. There's been very little movement on that, mostly because the stupid title was not in my name, so I had to wait for that, and I had to get a hold of insurance companies, and then, of course, the police making me wait 2 weeks for a police report, and I don't even want to really touch on it right now, but let's just say it's still up in the air, and my leg is still got purple on it. It's not as bad, but it's definitely better. I had my last laser hair removal session. I gotta now decide if I want to keep paying for it, because I was on a prepaid package. That's a whole nother out there subject. Wow, so what else is there? I got about a minute and a half before this turns into a 20-minute video. Well, one of the things that's been hard on me lately is I spent Thanksgiving alone. My family went out to California, and so I didn't have anybody to celebrate Thanksgiving with. I pretty much spent an alone time at Thanksgiving, just eating a meal for one. Not even my roommate was home. Yeah, I do have a roommate. I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before. And I'm trying to get a second roommate. I actually have a room up for rent. So anybody interested in a room, hey, hit me up. I'm more than happy to take on that second roommate. So anyways, I think this has been a pretty good update video. I really hope it's been informative. I'm literally just rambling. I've had no plans for this. I have a couple plans for videos I want to do. One of them in regards to the whole Chick-fil-A nonprofit donations thing that everybody was freaking out about. I've probably already missed the wave of that opportunity. The other thing is I've been really wanting to talk about passability, if that makes sense. That's been something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, but talking about trans people in passing, making that into a whole video. So anyways, that will hopefully happen soon. And I just at least want to get another video up so that people knew I was still alive and I'm still here. I'm still fighting. I'm still trying to be successful in life and be happy and be healthy. Obviously work is difficult, but again, more stuff that gets, we're not going to get into right now. So anyways, I hope everybody stays lovely, and do not forget to follow me on social media and subscribe to this channel. Please subscribe to the channel, because when you subscribe, I know that there are other watchers out there, that I'm not just alone in this infoverse of YouTube. So anyways, I will see everybody later. Catch you next time. Bye.